Hey, hey, what's up, y'all? This is TC. This is TC time. I am showing you guys today the best doggone DIY fishing lure that's ever been invented, and I just happen to make it. I call it the double lure. Now, the way I got it right here, I'm gonna cast with it. This is how you cast. You can also troll with it like this. Now, what this bait does is it turns one pole into two poles, because as you see, you got a swivel on all your connection points. And you can make this thing out of any type of wire you want. Thinner gauge wire, heavier gauge wire. When I'm trolling or casting, I want a little bit heavier gauge because I usually tend to throw heavier baits. I'll tell you another little secret. When you're using this thing, put a crankbait on one side and a spinnerbait on the other. What'll happen is it'll drag that spinnerbait down deep as your crankbait will go, and still give you that spinnerbait action. The walleye fisherman here in Kansas, and I got a buddy that does tournaments, and he's actually sponsored. His name is Mike Hyman, and he was telling me that them guys that he fishes with, they've been using bottom bouncers and stuff, but they've also been using this weighted line and spinnerbaits to get down deep to the walleye. Well, I gave him one of these. Guess what? He loves it. Now, I asked him not to show any of his buddies this thing yet until I release my video. But I'll tell you what, guys, I'm super frustrated. I made a video about this thing at the beginning of the summer, and I don't understand why it's not getting a whole lot of views. It's got like 53 views as of today, and I'm pretty sure it's just because I'm not titling it wrong. I didn't do my thumbnail right, or something was off on the SEO. But so I just brought it down here to the creek bank right by my house. There's no fish in this creek. Matter of fact, it's empty most of the time. The city uses this little creek just to control water levels and all that kind of good stuff, and they fill it up for the river festival. So anyways, I thought I would show it, cast it a few times. Hopefully there's enough light and the water's not too murky for you to be able to see a little bit of action on this thing. Real super easy to cast. If you make it right, the baits won't interfere with each other. And I'll tell you another little secret. You know, in Kansas, you can only use 2 hooks at once. But you tie a loop and a piece of string and dangle that from right there. You can make it short or long or whatever you want, as long as the game warden doesn't see you, and I didn't tell you. You can pull 3. And if you don't think you could cast this thing, anybody can press a button and let it go from the back of the boat. So you can either cast or troll with this lure. And I'll tell you what, if you've ever been in a school of whites or striper, I grew up by a Lake Texoma, so you guys all know what I'm talking about. When they go into that feeding frenzy and thousands of fish are busting the top of the water, it don't matter what in the hell you throw into that feeding frenzy, they're going to bite it. So if you can throw 2 things into them when they're doing that, you're going to pull in 2 fish. And if they're not feeding frenzy, you're just regular bass fishing, catfishing, whatever, and it doesn't matter what kind of bait that you got on. You could be using a worm on one hook, a minnow on the other. You know, you're going to double your chances of catching fish because you got 2 baits in the water. All right, so let's pretend like you don't want to cast. Let's pretend like you just want to use a bobber. All right, no big deal. Want fish on top? Guess what? You're fishing on top. Is that a shot? Okay, let's see if I can get it a shot. You want to fish on top? Where the hell is it? You want to fish on top there, you can see it. You're fishing on top. All you got to do is put a hook on each side, whatever kind of bait you want, whatever kind of artificial bait you want, and you can just fish from the top like that. Not a big deal. Some guys, they'll put like a weight on each side or whatever, maybe even tie a leader, just whatever you want to do. But you know, don't put one bait in the water, you put in two. All right, so showed you how to fish on top, showed you how to cast. Now I'm going to show you how to fish on bottom. Now what I do is I take these 2-ounce weights, lead weights, and I drill them out just like that right there. See that? All right. The reason why I do that is because if I want to fish at night and I'm fishing on bottom, I'm gonna want to be able to slip that weight right over that right there, just like that right there. Y'all see that right there? You can also leave that weight on when you're trolling for a trolling weight to give you a little bit of extra depth to your bait. All right, so if I'm fishing on bottom and I got that weight right there, well, guess what? I don't want my baits on bottom. So what I'm gonna do is, since it's a homemade lure, I can do whatever I want to with it. I'm gonna bend it up just like that right there. Y'all see that? Bend it up just like that right there. Just like that right there. And then I'm gonna bend this up right here. Just a little bit. I'm gonna cheat and use my pliers. So what you're left with is something that looks just like that right there. Okay. Now when I'm fishing on bottom, personally, what I do is I like to put a floating jig head on each side, and if I'm fishing a new spot, I'll fish worm on one side, shad on the other at first, if I don't know what's biting. Or say I'm fishing for a totally different species that I've never fished for before. All right, so I got one or the other, and whatever the fish is biting, whenever I start catching fish, if I got a worm on the side, I caught fish on it, I'm gonna put 2 worms on. I'm gonna have 2 worms on bottom instead of 1 worm, and I'm gonna catch twice as many fish. All right, now, you don't want this thing to get hung up when you're on bottom, right? And it's already bent up. You got your weight bringing it down, but we need something to keep these arms up just a hair. Not a problem. Dollar Tree, you can get like 8 of these in a pack. They're hair curlers. But to me, when I looked at them, they looked like a fishing noodle. And I was like, man, fishing noodle? Yeah, fishing noodles float. And that looks like it'll slip right over the arm of my lure. So we're gonna tear off about that much right there. I like that right there. Now I'm gonna put me a zip tie on it. Like this right here. I'm gonna put one at the bottom. Bottom of that float right there. Then I'm gonna do the other side, just like this right here. Now you can buy these curlers in blue, pink, and green at Dollar Tree for $1. So as far as cost goes, you ain't gonna find a cheaper float. Sorry, y'all. I'm by the creek bank, and I ain't got no table, so I got to step out of the shot every once in a while. So we're going to do the exact same thing to this side right here. All right, so if I do that, I got my weight on there. Since my weight's slipping up, I'm just going to put me another zip tie right there. I keep a pack of zip ties in my tackle box. I don't know about y'all. They come in handy. Put my zip tie right there. Okay. Now that I got all my zip ties on, I got my floats on. I'm going to cut the tails off my zip ties. Just like this right here. Bam. Bam. And bam. All right. Now that I've done that, I'm going to squirt some of that in it. Check this out, y'all. Just take the squeeze bait and you fill this float up. Just all the way up to the top. Both sides. Why? That way you're trumming now. Then I'm going to put my hook on this side, a hook on this side, maybe worm here, shad here, minnow here, whatever. It doesn't matter. So my bait's going to sit on bottom like this, and my floats are going to keep my hooks off the bottom like this, so I don't get snagged up. If I'm pulling through something, like say I hit a stump or whatever, these are flexible. They just bend right out of the way. So you're not losing baits. You got 2 baits in the water. You're chumming. Man, if I just had a little bit of light on this thing. Well, guess what, guys? Since we're a Dollar Tree, let's just buy us a big old pack of glow sticks for $1. And we got some zip ties in our tackle box because all the smart guys I know keep zip ties in their tackle box. Right? So we're just going to zip tie that white. I'm going to zip tie it down here. That way my whole bait's illuminated. And I'm probably, in all honesty, if this was at nighttime and I was really fishing, I'd stick one on both sides. That way my bait's all lit up good. I got me 2 different types of bait in the water until I figure out what the hell the fish I'm fishing for are going to want to eat. I got chum in the water attracting the fish to my bait. I got light bringing them to it. 2 different baits. Now look here. This ain't one of them fishing videos where you got a guy on a boat pulling in fish one after another, because I'm here by the creek that don't have fish in it by myself. If you know how to fish and you got a little bit of common sense, this makes sense. This absolutely makes sense. So, you can understand my frustration why the last video I made about this lure didn't do so hot. It was 30 minutes long. I have no idea how long I've been talking. I'm probably going to do this again and try to do it faster. Who knows, I may go with this one. If you guys are watching this one, I went with this one. So we got chum, light, 2 baits, bottom, top, troll, cast. Man, I really don't know what else to do to catch fish. That's about it. So you throw this out there like that. It's sitting on bottom. Your hooks are off bottom. Your weight's on bottom. Hooks are off bottom. If you are drifting, every time that you drift and that boat's moving, guess what? Because of the angle that you bent the front at and the back at, it's also jigging. So, you know, fish smart, y'all. It ain't hard. I just showed you how. All you gotta do is take your coat hanger, twist it up at the front, put you a swivel there, twist on each side, swivel there. That way everything's turning, not getting tangled up. Everything's getting separated. And guess what? If you're at a family reunion or a bass tournament, or you're out on the ocean fishing for sharks, and you're fishing next to a guy that ain't got one of these, you don't even have to know how to fish better than him. You're going to catch more fish. All right, thanks, y'all. Thanks for tuning in to TC Time. Press like, subscribe, and get notified. I got lots of other cool stuff to look at on my channel. So, appreciate it, and y'all have a good one.